Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. Boy, I'll tell you what I want to start with. I want to tell you something that I talked about a week ago, and that was setting the hook in the vertical jigging for lake trout and why setting the hook was not the right thing if you're bringing that straight up from the bottom. Well, let me take this to a whole nother thing about right around here. Last week, I got some of the last fishing of the year for me in the tributaries. The water was low, it was warm, it was wonderful. And I started noticing at some point, because I was catching lots of smallmouth bass, but they were all small. I mean, nothing like what we see people holding up at the tournaments on the St. Lawrence River. I was fishing the Grass River at the time. But I started noticing that I would hook a fish and I'd lose like 8 or 9 in a row. And I'd check the hook, and the hook was, the way I check, here's how you check to see if your hook is sharp. And this is an age-old type of thing that's been going on for years and years. But if you take the hook and run it over your thumbnail, if it sticks, if it doesn't slide free, it's sharp. If it just kind of slides along like you're on ice or something, then you know that it isn't sharp enough. That point isn't sharp enough. So I immediately changed, put a different hook on. But one of the things I also did was I stopped setting the hook when I would get a strike. Now, I was moving the bait, so it already had some movement. There was no slack in my line. So as soon as the fish would strike, there was just a natural resistance there. And I started not losing any fish. I caught one after the other, not losing them, and I wasn't setting the hook. So there's 2 things involved here. Number 1, how sharp is the hook? And number 2, maybe it isn't important if you're using something that's moving to yank so much, because maybe you tear a little hole in their mouth and it makes it easy for that hook to come out while they're fighting it. It's something to think about. But I will tell you that what I've realized that I need desperately to carry is a hook file. Something where I can take that hook, because if you snag into the rocks or whatever, it's going to dull the hook if you're able to get it out. That hook is not going to be the same. It might not even have the same angle of curvature. It might be bent straighter or something, and that will affect whether you can hook and land the fish or not. 2 things I can pass on to you. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.